The Airbus A380 Stretch, the 1,000-seat plane that never got built. The Airbus A380 is the world's biggest commercial passenger aircraft, seating an average of 555 passengers in 3 different classes and up to 800 in a horrible all-economy configuration. But Airbus wasn't satisfied with this capacity and drew up plans for an A380 Stretch capable of carrying over 1,000 passengers. Let's explore what could have been. After the A380 was released to the market in 2000, Airbus proposed an A380-200 Stretch that would bump the seats from 555 to 656 in a 3-class layout. But then, in 2007, Airbus proposed a further extension of the A380-800, dubbed the 900, that would include 650 seats in a 3-class format and up to 900 in an all-economy configuration. Several airlines jumped to express interest, including Emirates, who would go on to operate the largest A380 fleet in the world, Virgin Atlantic, Cathay Pacific, Air France, KLM, Lufthansa, Kingfisher Airlines, and several air leasing companies. Airbus unfortunately had to park these proposed orders until they could deliver on the original A380-800 variant. With the launch of the Neo program for the A320, Airbus returned to plans for the A380 Stretch. They'd proposed that once they'd developed an A380 Neo and improved the fuel efficiency of the aircraft, they would also offer the A380-900. Rumours have it that Airbus was also considering an A380-1000 Stretch that would have had 200 more seats than the A380-800, pushing it just over 1,000 passengers. It's likely that an airline would have gone for this goal even just for the prestigious award of having the highest capacity aircraft in the world. But, as fate would have it, the A380 was slowly wound down and retired, so the plans for a massive A380 would never come to fruition. So why was it never built? Simply, the lack of demand for the type was the primary reason why Airbus never offered the A380-900. They couldn't sustain the existing A380 program, let alone build a bigger version. Some aviation commentators suggest that Airbus should have offered the A380-900 from the get-go rather than the smaller A380-800. This would have placed the aircraft in a better competitive position to the 747-8 and the 777X. But who would have bought this huge plane? There are actually very few markets where the A380 Stretch would have been useful. The first was China. With such a huge population and plans to build over 200 airports over the next 2 years, a large-capacity aircraft like the A380 Stretch would have done wonders. Routes like Beijing to Shanghai that are incredibly dense would have benefited from such a massive aircraft. Secondly, India could have been a great location for the aircraft to operate. Like China, their population and demand for air travel could have justified such a large plane. Additionally, India has one of the most cutthroat airfare markets and could have benefited from the incredibly low fuel burn per seat on the A380 Stretch. Holidaymakers on popular routes such as Seoul's Gimpo Airport to Jeju, an island off the southern coast of the Korean peninsula, the most heavily trafficked route in the world with 13.4 million travellers in 2018, could have deployed the A380 Stretch to good effect. Lastly, airlines that provide transport for the Muslim pilgrimage to Mecca would most definitely have bought the A380 Stretch. Airlines like Malaysia Airlines, Lion Air and others in principally Muslim countries like Malaysia and Indonesia would have opted for the all-economy configuration to transport as many of the faithful as possible. And these passengers would have been satisfied with this dense configuration too, as the journey to Mecca is supposed to be an arduous test of your faith.